stand up for the fight.
Samantha, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. And I have to say straight off the bat, I have been a huge fan of K-Tel Records growing up. I love the fact that the success that you guys have had with the mini pops. We've got to talk about this. But before we get into a little bit of history of K-Tel Records and everything, mini pops. Did I see correctly? Is there a tour going on with the mini pop kids?
Yes, we are. The Mini Pop Kids are touring across Canada right now. We have 36 shows right now that are live, and we're going everywhere from Calgary and Edmonton to Saskatoon, Regina, Winnipeg. We're hitting Toronto and going all the way to the East Coast to Moncton and Halifax.
This is incredible. How did this whole mini pop phenomenon really kick off? Because what a way to present the big hits to the younger kids.
Well, I loved mini pops as a child. Mini pops first started in 1983 out of the UK, and K-Tel, when I was a kid, K-Tel marketed those records, and I remember loving those records as a kid. I still remember my favorite songs and doing dances with my friends. So then back in 2004, we brought them back, and we brought them back as the Mini Pop Kids. And this year is our Sweet 16, and we've been doing it ever since for 16 years.
Now, I'm just curious, though, how does K-Tel Records pick out these major hit songs? Because I've always sat back and wondered, like, sometimes the songs might suggest certain things that maybe not be appropriate for kids, but you guys seem to know how to work it, how to make it work right, and making sure that everything is family friendly.
Absolutely. We pick the songs. I know which songs my kids are singing and wanting to listen to. So that's a really good start for how we choose our songs. And then we usually alter the lyrics just slightly, just to get rid of all sort of the violent or sexual connotations.
Pick up the pace and crank up the bass. Get up, let's go and get out. Through speakers and airwaves and sold out stages. Get up, let's go and get out. My girls and boys, let's make some noise. So keep it up, come on and let the drum, yeah. Get up, let's go and get loud.
So what kind of show is this going to be? What exactly are we going to see? And I know you gave a rundown, but I have to double check. They're coming to Toronto, right?
They're coming to Toronto.
Okay, great.
We're doing the Queen Elizabeth Theatre on April 27th.
Fantastic. Okay, so what are we going to see when this show happens?
Honestly, it is so much fun to watch. Like, I love going. My kids all want to go. It's an hour show we perform for an hour, and so it's a 20-minute break in between, so it's an hour and a half, and we cover everybody from Bruno Mars to Ariana Grande, to Maroon 5 to Cardi B. All of our kids sing live the whole time.
How do you choose the children for this? Because I can only imagine the amount of talent that's out there. And what are the ages in between, too? How do you choose all these great kids?
So the kids that are going on tour are all between the ages of 10 and 13. We have 8 kids in the group. We had over 600 kids audition, and we narrowed it down to these amazingly talented 8 kids.
I'm assuming these kids are Canadians, or is it around the world?
Nope, they're all Canadian kids.
Wow, what a way to represent the country with the youth of today. You must sit back and go, what talent we have, because this could be an opening, like, years from now. There could be a Juno Award winner or a Grammy Award winner, and they say, yeah, I kind of got my start doing the Mini Pop Kids.
Well, it's true. A couple of our kids now are signed to major labels. Johnny Orlando is on Universal Canada. He was on Mini Pop Kids 12, and Christian Lalama is on Atlantic Records, and he was on Mini Pop Kids 14.
Oh, my goodness. 2 people I've interviewed before. I had no idea.
Yes.
Now, with having a tour, is there an album out right now? Because I know usually you guys release albums just around the holiday time.
It is. So Mini Pop Kids 16 has just been released, and it's doing great. It's number 3 on Amazon. We've had, over hundreds and thousands of streams on Spotify, and it can be found in Walmart as well. So it's really exciting. And then we've released a whole bunch of new videos as well from this album, all available on YouTube. And we're actually releasing another video this Friday.
That is incredible. Look, congratulations on all that success.
Thank
but
you.
As an old school guy who grew up with K-Tel Records, who actually, I remember just a couple of months ago, my girlfriend and I were actually watching some of the YouTube old K-Tel record commercials.
I know. We have them all on the YouTube channel.
It is incredible. You know, for folks who don't realize the history of K-Tel Records, because K-Tel Records is a Canadian company. How did it really progress, and what were their secrets to the successes? I saw the documentary, but I don't want to give too much away. If you could, please.
Okay, well, I'll give you the short synopsis.
Yeah.
K-Tel is a real rags to riches story. My father founded K-Tel in 1962. He grew up in a small farm in Saskatchewan, came to the big city of Winnipeg, did everything from being a short order cook to a taxi driver, and then started doing door-to-door sales, which he really excelled at. Before you knew it, he was in Atlantic City on the boardwalk beside people like Ed McMahon, and he saw how great the pitch was, and he just wanted a bigger audience. So he came back to Winnipeg in 1962 and did the very first infomercial, which was a Teflon-coated pan.
I remember.
They sold thousands of pans, just thousands of pans. Unfortunately, Teflon didn't work that well at the time, and so the Teflon came off. So all the pans were returned. However, my dad just realized, okay, this is a formula that works. He didn't even care that the pans were returned. He just was so thrilled on how it sold. And so for the next 4 years, he did all sorts of different products. And then he was looking for a new product, and he tried a record. It was a 25 hit country western record. It sold okay. The next record, they tried a polka record. They sold 1.5 million copies, and then K-Tel was in the music business.
K-Tel presents Blockbuster, a great new LP, 20 original hits, original stars, KC and the Sunshine Band. Silver Convention. War.
But he was smart enough to know, and he was able to do this too. People don't realize that K-Tel Records probably had more songs on an album than any other, whether it be, an artist releasing their own album or a collective album. K-Tel Records had the most songs on one album. It was a brilliant way in how he did it.
Honestly, but that's what K-Tel was always about, like trying to bring value to the consumers. I mean, really, K-Tel was sort of the Spotify of the 70s, because in the 70s, if people wanted to hear all their favorite songs, they had to go and buy 20 records, and they didn't really have the money to do it. Or you could buy a K-Tel record where you could find, 15 of your favorite songs and then discover 5 new songs.
That was it. And sorry to interrupt, but I was going to say to you, that was the big, probably the biggest influence was the fact that he was able to help create stars. Lobo, I had no idea who Lobo was until I heard Lobo on K-Tel Records.
I know, and you're not alone. In Dave Grohl, when he gave his keynote speech in South by Southwest, it was K-Tel's Blockbuster compilation, he said, that changed his life. That was a record that changed his life because he discovered the song Frankenstein by Edgar Winter Group. So, I mean, it influenced everybody from you to Dave Grohl. So, honestly, it's pretty crazy what my dad was able to do back in the 60s and 70s, all starting from the farm in Saskatchewan.
This is probably a dumb question, but do you realize the influence that your family has had on the 70s for Canadians, whether it be what we listen to on our tape recorders or on our record stereos or what we've watched on television? It was part of all of our lives. It was great.
I know. You know what? It's true. It's I hear that all the time from people. And then when I heard that Dave Grohl quote, I'm just like, wow, this is what K-Tel really influenced. And it's funny because I recently met Randy Bachman and Andy Kim, and when I mentioned I'm with K-Tel Records, they both were saying how, oh my God, I remember when I made it onto a K-Tel record, and what a thrill that was for them as artists. So it's just pretty crazy the influence K-Tel had back then.
And the other thing I want fans to know too, the other important thing was the fact that K-Tel Records was able to help these artists. It just didn't help their fame. It helped them financially, because back in those days, it was a tough thing, an artist getting a record deal, trying to make money, having to tour and everything else. And K-Tel Records, and doing what they've done, from what I understood, they were able to make sure that these guys also got paid. It was another revenue for money for these folks.
Absolutely.
I'm just curious one thing. Can we still get K-Tel memorabilia? Is there a website or anything where we can get T-shirts or stuff like that? Because I know for somebody like myself, I'd love to get something like that.
It's so funny you should say that because we're just about to launch a new K-Tel memorabilia store in January.
Yes!
Yeah, so stay tuned for that for sure. And you can still find our compilations online. We have a massive catalog of music that we own, and you can find K-Tel records on Spotify and Amazon and Apple Music.
Fantastic.
And what you might not even know is you can also find a lot of our songs in sync placements. Like we just had a couple songs in Stranger Things and in Oscar-nominated movies like Dallas Buyers Club and Baby Driver.
Oh my goodness. Now I'm really excited. Now I know what I'm going to be doing over the holidays. This is going to be my personal Christmas shopping. But for folks who want to learn more about what's going on with the Mini Pops on their tour with the new music, and for folks, again, like old school guys like me who want to know more and what's going on with K-Tel Records, where do we go? What's the website? All social media stuff that we didn't have in the 70s, but we got now.
Yes. Well, we have our Facebook page, and we're just about to launch our new merch store, and our new website in January at K-Tel.com.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me. I'm sorry we couldn't do it in person, but I'm so glad we had a chance to do this over the phone.
Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you so much for being interested in our story. We're just thrilled to talk about it.
Are you kidding? Like I said, you guys were part of my and so many other Canadians growing up. So thank you for what your family has done for us. Thank you so much for the interview.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Be sure to get the best from K-Tel.